out now saying, maybe maybe I should have thought this thing through. It sounds like he's got the reincarnation of General McClellan, who is advising him, frankly.
Yeah, well,
General McClellan, who famously told President Lincoln the Civil War be over in a few hours.
Yeah. I think this is not the first time I brought up McClellan during one of these shows.
Yeah.
And probably not the first time you brought it up when we were referring to Vladimir and Ukraine and things like that. You're right. I mean the situation in Afghanistan. I mean, it's hard to believe it's been a year. Obviously, things are much worse in Afghanistan than they were before. They don't really talk about it too much because Biden's got some other problems on his plate as well. In the meantime. Yeah, I mean, I think there's some truth there, Dwight. I mean, if Putin could look and see the U.S. pretty much gave up in Afghanistan, took everybody out, and decided to let them fend for themselves and let the chips they may, even knowing that full well that letting the Taliban take over was not going to be a good thing. People of Afghanistan, and said, okay. Why not? I annexed Crimea, a number of years ago. Trump,
under Obama, and nothing happened.
Trump's not in office. We've got another Democrat. Why not? Why not take out at this? And as I said, apparently his intelligence, had them very bad information as to how long this would take. It's going to be like, and has put Russia in a really bad spot. I mean. Not just the fact that they want lots of soldiers and lots of equipment, during this time period, the reputation on the world stage, which was never to begin with, is really in tatters, and the financial pressure on them has been pretty steep. Not they have to. Avoid certain things. Obviously, controlling kind of Nord and some natural gas. They've been trying to put the pressure on Europe with the gas flows and some things like that. But by and large, I think Russia has suffered. Economically, they've suffered with the loss of life. These soldiers that lost their lives needlessly. Just was there was no reason for Russia to do this. This idea in Putin's head that be able to capture this thing, and he had the opportunity. He saw a window of opportunity, but they've totally misplayed this. And so we're just almost 6 months of this thing, and there's no end in sight. The Ukrainians, I give them credit, they have remarkably well. Thank you to the West and all the other nations have supplied them without actually going in with troops, right? They haven't done. NATO, hasn't really helped because they're not part of NATO. But there's been plenty of money and plenty of equipment going in, and a lot of military advice and training from these and others that has helped Ukraine, weather the storm and even recapture some areas. Fortunately, this is not going to be over anytime soon, and it is causing hardships throughout Europe. We've got the grain issue and other energy issues and things that people are going to get pounded here with higher prices, shortages. But this is all on, but
yeah, and I think here's the thing: Russia is in the same position, say, the Ottoman Turks were in. They're a sick, dying empire. And frankly, the Russians, they just need to be buried, frankly, 8 foot under, frankly. They don't have, I mean, even the Soviet military was not that great, frankly. Look how Afghanistan worked out for them. They were able to be successful where they had their stooges in charge, like, say, Hungary, or Czechoslovakia or Poland, but wherever they actually would have to fight an insurgency or so on. Remember, the Soviets backed the communists, then the Cubans kind of took over the fight in Angola. You had the Russians were bankrolling the Nicaraguans, and it didn't work out well for them there either. It didn't. The Contras won. The basically the communists in El Salvador did not win. So I mean, it's the communists, and the Russians are a dying empire. They just need to be put 8 foot under, frankly. And I think this Ukraine debacle that's happened for Putin, it's going to be the end of Putin. Either some general will take him out, or Putin is not in the best of health. So it's possible that he might pass away.
Well, that would be something. Well, I mean, Bruno's always tried to like he's the most virile man in the world, right? So
well, that's only because he's comparing to Joe Biden.
You can compare Putin to a lot of the other previous Russian leaders, and his health has probably been better than most of those guys that we knew.
Yeah.
For years.
But they used to have like 100-year-old people take over. Remember Brezhnev to Andropov to Chernenko? And then they got wise and gave it to Gorby. And that didn't work out well either because he kind of basically brought down the Soviet Union, so to speak. Or I should say Boris Yeltsin brought down the Soviet Union with Ronald Reagan and the West's help, frankly.
Yeah, so I don't know where Russia really goes here. I mean, they've got the little kind of communist sphere that still has been going, but that it's still a pretty small sphere overall.
Yeah.
In terms of that, I mean, I think if it wasn't for the fact that the invasion helped spike, energy pricely, even now we're seeing that down a little bit. That if oil prices down and collapse a little more, that will put more pressure because they're able to still find a market for their oil and money off that. But if oil prices that'll crimp their ability to bring in helps fund this effort. At this point, but yeah, you're right. You made a good point about the military. They were never very good to begin with. They were never to top flight or whatever. And that showed, particularly in the early stages of the war, they were completely unprepared to handle things, and how much more do they have? I mean, it seems that the Ukrainians have a very good job of destroying a lot of things, and predicting. Plus, they've been firing these missiles to Crimea and to these air bases, which probably shocked the heck out of Russia. They were like they thought they were safe there. They're losing that one too.
You losing jets on the ground. And here's the Ukrainians are sending a lot of Russians back in body bags to Moscow. The Russians are incinerating a lot of the bodies, they don't have to explain to the mothers, but it's not the Soviet days. They do have the internet in Russia, and despite some of his fans, and I'll just say it, in American politics, you seem to like Vladimir Putin, and they're probably about his only ally.
Right, your audio has still a little bit. You're now sound like you're like almost in a box or something.
Oh, really? Okay, hold on. Let me try to play something. Let's see. How is this?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, Susan's right. There was some other noise that was kind of weird that came in.
Yeah, there was an echoing sound.
Okay, that's better than it was before.
Let's see. High resolution. See if this makes. How's that? Any better?
You sound fine. You sound much better to me. Well, let's see and see how she hears her.
Yeah. Hey, Susan, is the audio going away? Oh, there you go. It is better. There you go.
So we can both say thumbs up. Thumbs up.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. And as I was saying,
wonderful world of live streaming. You never.
Yeah, I know. And it's great. We've got some of the best viewers out there, who'd let us know about these things. It's like I don't know if you remember television in the late 70s, early 80s, Don. when they'd have that was back. I've noticed we don't see as many of that. Like remember back in the days they'd have technical difficulties and the channel would go down for sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes even 20 minutes or 30 minutes, or more.
Yeah, I mean,
And
when you get when messages stand by because we're
yeah, and you got and the little graphic of the repair guy working the camera. Basically has the hood of the camera open and is like working. And we don't see that anymore, which is great.
true.
Now I think they just let stuff happen. It's like I was watching one of the auxiliary what do you call them? Channels. It was the Jeffersons, and the audio was like 2 minutes behind. 2 minutes behind. Oh, some breaking up.
You sound okay to me from here, so I don't know.
Yeah. So, are you hearing echo, Susan, or is it just like do I just need to be closer to the microphone? Does this sound better, or this sound better?
Is it
Anyways,
live or is it Memorex?
exactly. But it's like. By the way, it looks like Coca-Cola has rebranded their. Was it Cosmic Coke or it wasn't Stardust Coke?
Oh.
Now they're calling it Dream World Coke, and it still tastes just as bad. I know.
And yet you bottle.
Yes. And yes, I bought it because it was at Wawa. So I went to Wawa to get gas yesterday because it's the cheapest place to get gas.
We'll be getting a Wawa. Wait a minute. Yeah, it's a Wawa's that's being in Gaithersburg, I think, right?
Yeah, I go to the one on Route 1 because I had to go to Goddard anyway, so I filled up there. And it's not as cheap as Costco's, but I don't have to wait in a long line like I do at Costco. So
Well, the Costco in Belleville or whatever, it's insane.
that's
That gas line is insane. We hate that one and the one like towards Alex City or whatever it is.
mhm.
That also gets to be pretty long. Those are ones that we try to avoid. So my wife has got. She has kind of a thing is like the only gas we put in our car has got to be rated top tier. Gases they've got the top tier, but none of the off-brand stations like the Sheets, the Wall Loves would have that.
And yes, you are right. Wawa's does have the best coffee. When I used to go to Goddard in the mornings, we'd all go to Wawa's for coffee. Bats would go there for his giant Diet Coke because they were only $1.
I'm waiting for what to come because I want to go back. I want to like taste test their subs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to do a good job on some of their foods.
By the way, if you're ever driving down south, Don, Bucky's on 95 in South Carolina or the one in Daytona, you gotta stop it. It is I'll say it's almost like a religious experience going into a Bucky's.
Well, I've seen reports on Bucky's. It is a destination. I keep thinking like I need to find an excuse or to go to take past the Bucky's somewhere. Yeah, no. Bucky's is they're famous. It's amazing for what they do. So more power to that in terms of what they've been able to build. I love it when these companies like the Wawas, like the Sheets, like the bus, where they can build something like this, where people, it's not just the gas that they go for, but things like the coffee.
It's a destination.
The other things that they that they want, things like that. Yeah, it's something that's definitely worth visiting. So yeah, that was maybe I should say Bucky's on my hit list. So,
but it's kind of imagine a Love's almost be 3 times the size of a Love's, maybe twice the size of a Love's. I should say. Love's are pretty big too. But Love's they'll have like a Subway or a Taco Bell or both or McDonald's or Wendy's in there. Bucky's is all Bucky's.
I mean, that's the same way with Wawa's Eats, though, right? I mean, they're only serving their own food. So,
yeah. And by the way, Wawa's has a great cookie milkshake. They got a Chips Ahoy milkshake and they got an Oreo milkshake. Both really good.
Good. I love a good milkshake. Shake. So
Yeah.
I will say, speaking of milkshake, so I had the opportunity to have a mango shake at House.
Ah, mango. That's disgusting.
Oh, come on,
I'm
mom,
not a
mango,
fan. I am not a fan. I do
mango,
not like
right up
mangoes.
there with my peach. Okay.
I don't like mangoes. I don't like them. They taste funny. And you know what's funny? Now like those ice waters. They take orange and they mix it with mango. It just disrupts the taste. Frankly, it's not as good. Because the mango taste overpowers the orange. And it's yeah, it's an acquired taste. Mangoes, frankly.
To each his own. I mean, mangoes
Yeah.
are a big favorite in our house. We actually don't buy mango often here in the house, but
Hmm.
a milkshake or do something else or whatever. If I go somewhere else, I'll definitely get. But you know,
Hmm.
it's I've always loved peaches since I was a kid. Probably favorites, that and strawberries.
I tell you, the peaches here we get at the store are not that good compared to the peaches you buy at Publix in Florida. They are so much better. They're juicier, they're sweeter, all in all tastier. Unlike the peaches here, are almost like hard as a rock sometimes.
I think before the pandemic or thereabouts, I think Costco would have peaches
Hmm.
when they're in season, and
Yeah.
90% of the time, I mean, like fruits are like they're hard to tell all the time, but they're pretty darn good. It's like watermelon. You pick a watermelon, and everybody has their own theory about what makes a good
Hmm.
how you tell. But it's sort of a crapshoot because then you cut it open and sometimes it tastes and sometimes it's like eh. Yeah, I know peaches. See, I remember and all of the locals. Butler's order. I remember going picking peaches.
Is Butler still there or are they
Yeah,
gone?
yeah, Butler's is still up there. I don't think I've been to in over 50 years, but they're still there.
That's until some land developer buys the land and puts up condos there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're out
Or
so
zero lot line homes.
but there are. I mean, if you actually drive up by there, because you have to take that route from our home to like the Walmart and everything in Germantown, rather going the way. And so her more back roads route takes us right by Butler's Orchard, and you are seeing in that vicinity, you're seeing a lot more homing up.
Yep.
But they're holding out. I mean, that land has got to be worth a small fortune at this
Yeah. I
point.
mean, Banky's nursery, they basically sold off all their land because the owners were getting up there and they didn't want to deal with the estate taxes. So they sold all their stuff, and now you got developers. I think the Banky's on River Road is now another nursery, but the Banky's in Beltsville, I think, is going to be developed into condos or mixed use homes.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I spent a lot of time at that Benki's with my parents when I was a kid on route.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. That I mean, thing and go. I mean, and sometimes that's the thing too. If you've got a family business and it's
Hmm.
general, you will probably reach where someone where the kids, somewhere along the line they say, this isn't for me. I'm not interested in carrying this on. And there are, we're in such a society where there's so many rules and regulations or things that have
Hmm.
to happen. I mean, you can't treat the plants with the same kind of pesticides as
Yeah, I mean, the Netherlands, Ireland, Sri Lanka, they are banning nitrogen fertilizers, which is cutting the food production down to nothing. And I think it's going to come here because it's a whole UN score thing about environmental friendliness and so on. They're going to start banning Miracle Grow in America. I mean, they're already trying to ban what's that Roundup, the great weed killer that kills everything, and I love it, and I buy it, and I hoard it now. because I want it around for years to come so I can kill the weeds.
Yeah, now you're making things like, okay, maybe the time now is to go ahead and just make sure that when you have the weed killers and the
Yeah.
fertilizer stuff, go ahead and buy it in bulk and use it as you need it, because who knows?
Hmm.
I'm convinced that all nations about you got to be more like organic with your pesticides, stuff like that. All the things that these local jurisdictions, including Montgomery County, have put on. So we've lawn service most of the last, I don't know, 20 years or whatever.
Hmm.
They're not through green or one of, but I think more, prior to all these rules about the pesticide control, they did a much better job of killing the weeds on our lawn.
Hmm.
Now, I want, can you come out here and kill these weeds? And they come and they spray stuff on there, but the weeds still go.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I mean, I go back on some of the weeds, like with an ortho or whatever I bought from Costco to try to kill
Hmm.
them off, because I'm like, okay, I think the stuff I'm buying at Costco is more powerful stuff I'm paying for the lawn service.
Yeah, and here's the thing, and that's also gotten, here's the thing, I don't know, do you remember, I seem to remember when I was a kid, they used to spray for mosquitoes in Montgomery County. They'd have the trucks drive around, or they'd even do it by helicopter or airplane sprays also. But we don't do that anymore. The left has successfully banned DDT. And what's that done? That's caused in Africa millions and millions of deaths due to malaria because and what's their solution is netting. You know,
Yeah, but yeah, because mosquito netting is so effective.
and during the because mosquitoes only bite you at nighttime when you're sleeping in the netting. Because during the day when you're outside, they're not going to bite you because it's kind of like COVID. If you remember when they would play that game of 20% indoor dining or whatever, but they'd always start it at 5 p.m. because COVID's afraid of the dark. That's kind of like what it is. Mosquitoes don't, they're like vampires. They suck blood like vampires and they only come out at night like vampires, according to the left.
So Dwight,
And
you made me think about all this here. I'm thinking that I was like, okay, there's a lot of stuff that is banned for sale in Montgomery with these pesticides and all these
Mhm.
things. So what I need to be thinking about is going to some in a neighboring state that has the same restrictions, is buy the
Mhm.
stuff there in Virginia or maybe whatever, buy it and bring it back and use it, right? I mean,
Yeah,
there's no bird check if I bring in stuff like that.
yeah.
I mean,
Or
you know,
bring it back and start selling it on eBay.
yeah. Well, styrofoams are banned right in Montgomery County, but I've probably have like 1,500 some cups
Hmm.
of old AIM office days, and I thought I was go ahead and use them. And it was like, what do they do? I mean, somebody going to send somebody over my house to go confiscate my styrofoam cups?
Whoa, funny you should say confiscation. Maybe that's one of those 87 jobs of the 87,000 new IRS agents from the Inflation Reduction Act. They're going to come down and confiscate your Roundup, your Miracle Grow, and your styrofoam cups.
Yeah, don't you just that whole thing? They're going to give the IRS all this money and
And
build.
guns, and guns. Don't forget the guns, too.
Not all of them, some of them, but some of them will be allowed to carry guns. Uh, and that definitely smacks of that. Reminds me of the old stories about the old the tax revenuers and coming to get you, kind of a
Hmm.
thing like that. So watch out for that guy. But and Biden has certain, basically that this is not going to affect anybody who makes less than $400,000, but the things that they're kind of leaving out of that equation too is that there are a lot of people who run small businesses, and they file their taxes with on their individual tax return as part of the thing that can consolidate that stuff, and they could be subject to that, and it could easily fall below the threshold. It's a really small business and did.
Hmm.
Uh,
And
uh,
the way, and here's the thing, the IRS going after, I mean, what's the whole purpose of having 87,000? And here's the thing: you've got Chuck Schumer who said on the floor of the Senate, "Well, if you're not cheating, there, you don't have anything to worry about." That is like such a fascist line, frankly. That is what the Nazi. Hey, you got what about stop and frisk? They didn't like that. Well, if you got nothing to hide, what's wrong with stop and frisking you? That's how is that any different than what what's his name, Chucky Schumer said? Well, if you're not ripping off the government, you have nothing to worry about. Well, well, if you're not trying to conceal a weapon, there's nothing to stop and frisk. Just saying, well, you can
Yeah, I
make
mean,
those.
we have these claims here that they've been trying to simplify the tax code, which it really hasn't. I thought all the hours I have spent preparing my tax, every
Mhm.
year, and I finally just decided last year. I managed to get the guys who do the bookkeeping for this committee as well as for AIM and AIA and stuff like that.
Mhm.
They gave me they were able to they gave me a very low flat to do my taxes. So I
Mhm.
turned it over to them. Time in my life that I have not done my own tax, but in a lot of ways it's probably better because as a tax preparer, I've given them all the documents. They do it. And I think that also reduced. I don't earn enough money to actually, to run to get to be flat IRS to begin with. But I
Mhm.
think it's professionally prepared, and you've given them all the documents, and you're going to breeze by. But it almost seems that this type of thing will send people to the H&R Block, Liberty Tax Services, and
Yep.
the Jackson Hewitts of the world, because they're going to be like, okay, I love tax and the other tax preparation, but
Mhm.
if they're going to be 87,000 more in potentially scrutinizing my return, make any mistake, a small
Yeah.
mistake, lead to bigger things, and why bother dealing with them?
Yeah. They're going to weaponize the IR. Talking about a little bit about the raid on Mar-a-Lago. President Nixon should have had the FBI break into the Democrat National Committee offices. Then it would have been okay. He could have said, "Hey, they got some top secret documents in there that were that they stole or something." That's how flimsy this argument is they're using, frankly. And yeah, so President Nixon, should have used. And here's the thing: President Nixon wanted to also use the IRS to go after his enemies. They told him, "No, Mr. President, you can't do that." And you know what he did? He didn't go after his enemies using the IRS. But we've seen Obama and the Clintons use the IRS to go after their political enemies. I mean, who could forget the story from the 90s? This grandmother who wrote a letter to Bill Clinton saying, I think you're a horrible president. And, I used to be able to tell my kids to be like the president, and I can't do that. And she got audited. Coincidence, you think? It's.
Yeah, I mean, look at what we saw, all those stories about conservative organizations really getting screwed by the IRS. You
I know,
know,
remember United Seniors. They got United Senior Association. They got screwed by that. There were a lot of small, that were not the big, ACUs and so on that could afford to fight these guys in court, and they just had to turn stuff over. Frankly, you know. I want to say NLPC was also a target of the Clinton administration. As well as there's I think Capital Research Center is another one that was targeted by the Clintons. And it's just an outrage, that these people can do this. I tell you, gloves need to come off with the next Republican administration. We're going to go and raid Joe Biden's nursing home. Frankly, we should go and raid Jimmy Carter's home, wherever he's living these days, Atlanta or Plains. Uh, it's not about scare game. If they want to play these games, we can play these same games with them. We can raid Bill Clinton's Chappaqua home, and we can, but we're better than that. We don't do that. What did President Trump say when people asked about locking up Hillary? He said, "We're not going to prosecute Hillary Clinton because it would not be the right thing to do." But these people, they don't have that level of ethics. The Democrats,
yeah,
they're all about. one-upmanship.
Yeah, I mean, hoping that when the Republicans, take over Congress starting next year,
Hmm.
that'll be the end of the January Commission and the beginning of the after Biden laptop commission or something.
Yeah,
Because it needs to be looked at. Even liberal media, has admitted there's a story there,
yeah.
but Congress, no,
Just for fun, I want to
nobody's
just
doing
impeach.
it.
I want to impeach Joe Biden 3 times just for fun. Let's just impeach him 3 times.
Yeah, when you think about the impeachment of Bill Clinton, and then you look at the
Hmm.
impeachment of Donald Trump. I mean, I don't know that either one of those was really wise, except that the Democrats were able to really that to their advantage. I mean, and they shouldn't have, but they continue to make it's really to make an issue of Donald Trump. I think that do they really believe that there were impeachable offenses for Donald Trump? Probably really
No,
not. But by keeping Donald Trump front and center, and this has a lot to do with Mar-a-Lago, is that when you do them, you make Donald Trump the story. You can the Republican Party a lot more, and you can gain a little bit of advantage, or try to actually blunt the advantage Republicans have for going into the election. It's not a sheer coincidence that like this raid happens about 3 months to go for the election, right?
hmm,
So Trump becomes a story. A lot of people have very divided opinions about it, and some polls show that the Democrats um, are fair a little bit better in some of the polling, since all that came out. But I still think that FBI and Justice still gets a big black eye for this. I think it was unwarranted to go in there and do what they did. Uh, it's still questionable to me as to how many documents President Trump had were still classified versus unclassified. But when they start trying to attack and say he may have violated the Espionage Act, like wait a minute, you mean the guy who says "Make America Great Again" is trying to undermine the U.S. government and everything we stand for, colluding with national governments and other things. People like Putin no. I mean, that is ludicrous, and this just shows exactly how far the Democrats will go to try to make something out of nothing in this regard. And hopefully, what I hope in November, we've got what 10, 11 weeks to go before the election. But I hope voters really look at this and just say, you mentioned weaponizing, politicizing, all this stuff done with these government agencies and everything else, and how they've tried to the desperation they have in trying to save their souls here and save the House majority, which I don't think they're going to be able to do.
no, they're not.
That I think is the only that will be in dispute really will be the Republican victory. The Senate, that's a
I tell you, the Senate is one of those things. It reminds me of 2010 when we could have had the Senate, and instead we decide to go and we get these fringe people that won the primaries. Like Linda McMahon. We had in Delaware. I think what's his name? The former congressman was running, and he lost the primary to what's her name? I can't think of her name. She was accused of being a witch.
Christine
Yeah.
O'Donnell,
Yes, Christina O'Donnell. Yes,
Sharon Angle
and
out in Nevada.
yeah, Sharon Angle is another one. And then we had in Indiana the guy. What's the guy's name? I can't think of his name. The guy. He talked. I mean, honestly, shut up, you morons! You guys are talking about stupid, silly things, and that's what cost us the majority in the House. And I think Dr. Oz is in trouble in Arizona, in Phoenix. I mean, not Phoenix, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, yeah,
You
big
know, I
trouble.
don't. He's. I mean, I watching. Watching Dr. Oz clips. You'd think he's a lefty liberal. Why did he run as a Republican, and why did Trump endorse him? There
Yeah,
were other candidates that were running that were better, and the president could have endorsed them.
Yeah, and that will not help either way. With the governor's race there, because I think the the governor was
Oh yeah.
in Democratic hands. Now Nevada, it's possible the Republicans.
Nevada, I think. I mean, Laxalt is a popular name, and I mean, you have the great Senator Paul Laxalt, and I think this is Michelle Laxalt's son that's running for governor right
Yeah,
now.
I mean this is Paul Lassalt was what, his grandfather.
Yeah.
So anyway, so yeah, I think that helps him. I don't think Masto is senator, so I think there's a shot there. Arizona, that I don't think going to flip. George Herschel Walker might pull this off. I'm concerned about Ohio. I don't, Tim Ryan, great for the Democrats, but not great for the Republicans. So,
I
Ron,
think Jay Vance might be able to bring it back there. Wisconsin is the one I'm a little worried about. Mark Johnson there.
Ron
You know,
Johnson.
Ron Johnson. There you go.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about that too. I could see that. Look, I could see the Democrats, get 52 potentially here all.
Mhm.
Uh, you know, you know. So Republicans' best hope would keep it at 50-50. If they get if the Republicans manage somehow to get a plus from this, to me that'll be a major miracle. A lot of things will have to turn around in the next 10, 11
Yeah.
years for that to
But
happen.
I do see the price of gas. I know the price of gas has been falling, but it's still $4 plus in Montgomery County. You have to go all the way to Prince George's County to find gas that's below $4, and that's still high. You know, it's not. It's long ways from 2.34 a gallon, frankly.
I think I
Uh,
mentioned. I mentioned this week about when I watched CNN and saw this, they were talking about all the savings because of the falling gas prices, which had been at 56 days or
mhm.
something like that. Now we're up to like 67 in a row. Apparently, they ran on their website another story about how people are basically they're basically getting $100 cut because of the falling price of gasoline, and they're doing this in essence with the streets, right?
Yeah,
Without referring to the fact that gas prices were lower. I go, people aren't saving any money.
yeah,
They're saving
yeah.
money.
And here's the. They
Five
talk about the falling
gas
price of airline tickets and the
comparing
price of
gallon
gas.
or less a gallon of gas.
Yeah. And the reason the price is falling is because of lack of demand. People are just not driving as much.
Right.
When I drove down to Florida, there was almost no traffic on the second leg of the trip, which was from South Carolina down to the Space Coast. And usually I'd get traffic like around Jacksonville, and there was no traffic around Jacksonville. People are just not driving as much as they used to, and that's why.
Yeah.
I think, and then people aren't flying as much anymore because of the high price of tickets. That's why the airline tickets have kind of fallen down a little bit, but they're still higher than they were about a year ago, frankly.
Yeah. So,
And
we have to go back to in Indiana, their family thing with our grandchildren and Labor Day weekend, and but I had told my wife on the way down the slip. I said, this 10-hour drive, I just don't want to. Price of gas, and I think the wear and tear on the vehicle, the uncertainty about traffic that you get through Charles, West Virginia, and some other places, just all the mountains that you go through in the parts. It's you start early in the morning, you get there in the late afternoon, early evening, you're just tired, right? So what the next trip is that we're going to go south out of BWI, and we're going to fly into Louisville in a car and then drive the last 2 hours.
yeah,
And it's relatively affordable. I mean, it's actually really it's affordable now because we did the Southwest credit card thing last year. They had a huge promotion where if you got 25,000 and earn 125,000 points, qualify for a free companion fare through the next calendar year. So we had to hit certain spending thresholds. And you had to spend 25. What was it? 25,000 in 6 months or 7 months.
Hmm.
We tried to load expenses in there, and so we earned a bunch of bonus points and all that kind of stuff. So she applied. So we're good through the end of 2023. So 2 tickets because of the companion fare to Louisville round trip, $250.
That's not bad.
We'll rent a car via Costco, another 160. And
Oh,
now
Costco has a rental car service.
yeah,
Are they with who do they work with? Enterprise.
Budget and Avis and maybe somebody else.
I hate Budget and I hate Avis. Frankly, they're both.
We've got. Look, I still remember it's been pre-pandemic, but we got a rate with budget. There's a budget up by Lake Forest, and
Mhm.
we got a rate of $20 a day for 5 days or 6 days or whatever it was. And when we got there, the guy at the counter was going because he says, there he goes, we can't make any money at this rate. He was not happy, but he was like, that's the rate we got via Costco. They have to honor it, and everything like that. But
Mhm.
they weren't happy. The guy there, the local guy, happy with the rate that they were going to have to accept. And like, not my problem. So
Yeah. I mean,
I think probably gone up. I think for the 3 days with taxes, it's like 160 now. Which would have been $100 in the old days.
yeah. My issue with Budget was I rented a car through Budget when I went to Florida. I get to the airport. This is when I was standing there in that the delay. And but they go, oh, we can't find your reservation anywhere. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't find it? I'm showing them they go, no, we can't find. I said, whatever. I just walked over to Enterprise, and they had a car for me. And I got a better car. I got I think that may have been the time I got the Ford Explorer for a rental in Florida, and it only cost me about and it was for about almost 2 weeks, $600, not bad.
Yeah, I used to think it's cool when you get these upgrades. Sometimes you're like, oh, we'll give you this bigger car for this. Nowadays that's nice, but I'm gonna have to spend more money on gas.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's
Or
not
or the
not
yeah.
as not as good as it used to be and
Yeah,
everything.
or the flip side is, oh, we're going to give you a smaller car because we don't have any of the big ones, but at the same rate as the big car.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they have all these things. I mean, the thing
Well,
about
I'm amazed what they qualify as a full size car and what they qualify as a small car. A Corolla is a small car, but yet a Honda Accord is a full size car. That is not a full size car.
and it's not consistent among car companies, right? One
Yeah,
person's mids or intermediate is not the same as the other guy.
yeah,
So every time I'm looking at this, I say, what types of cars are they classifying there? So I know whether or not it's the size of car I want. I don't want them to get a smart car. You know,
yeah. A coffin on wheels.
yeah. So that'd be kind of ridiculous with all of that. Look, we're running up against the hour. I do want to get your opinion because the delicious thing about this like too though is
Yeah.
Liz
Excuse me.
Cheney.
Yes, Liz Cheney. You know something? Liz Cheney voted with President Trump 90% of the time until January 6th, And honestly, she should have just kept her opinions to herself, and she'd still be a congresswoman from Wyoming right now, you know. And by the way, a lot of you clever folks out there are saying how now the Bush dynasty is over, the Cheney dynasty is over, the McCain dynasty, the Obama and Clinton dynasty. And I'm like, do they know what a dynasty is? The Bush family is hardly dynastic. You had Bush 42, 41, and then you had Bush 43. Now if Jenna Bush becomes Bush 47, then we're kind of heading into that dynasty era. I don't see the dynasty here. It's like, and then you got the other people that are like trashing people like Alan Dulles, the Dulles brothers. I'm sorry, the Dulles brothers were not bad. They were great Cold War tacticians and strategists, frankly. But then again, a lot of these people were all Democrats back then, and they weren't, they didn't like Republicans back then. It's like this one person, mentioned, I go, so would you rather had a President Gore or a President Kerry? Can you imagine if Al Gore won that 2000 election, how bad things would have been, and how bad life after 9/11 would have been?
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing. I mean, I don't know what young or staffer does the Biden tweets, but I understand you've got to show the put your best forward kind of thing like that. But the majority of the beats, when I do see them from every couple of, I just look at them and I just kind of laugh because it's just like, who actually believes the stuff that they're tweeting about, America, that we passed we've signed the Reduction Act, it's a bright future for America, blah, 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 this. It's like, well, the Inflation Reduction Act, even the Congressional Budget Office says it's not going to lower inflation, right? I mean, there's a lot of lies going on by the administration, but they really, nobody really caught on, especially the media, especially when you have a seat talking about you're in effect $100 tax cut because of gas prices. You're like, yeah, they're colluding with the Biden administration.
Yeah, and by the way, the people that buy into that stuff, they think they got a tax break. Oh, I got $100 more in my pocket now because Joe Biden lowered the price of gas. No, Joe Biden had nothing. It's like this, right? It's kind of like this. Let's say you went out to dinner and got a steak last year for say $4. Then you go out again and you pay $8 for a steak. Then you find another place that a steak is $6. Did you save $2? I mean, but you're still spending more than what you did before. You're still spending more than you did a year ago. And by the way, all those folks, all these liberals who are going around saying inflation went down. Inflation went down. Joe Biden would have been doing cartwheels on the West Lawn. Especially if it went down to 8.5, as many of them are claiming. It didn't go down, it didn't go up. It's still 9.1%, the inflation rate. And that is the one thing that they don't seem to understand.
Well, I mean, those headline numbers, whether or not it's the CPI number that gets reported, the PPI is a better indicator of what the pressures that are going on there. But when you ignore the 13% increase year to year in food prices, you ignore the 38% increase in prices and stuff like that. Then you're ignoring the things that really hit people there, because food is a major expense, and there's boatloads of stories about people trying to balance budgets, with these increased food costs.
And I don't know if you've noticed, Don, at the Giant and Safeway, they have signs saying our prices have gone up. Because of they put it out there. Things are going to cost more. It's what do you call? And there you go. Chicken at Giant doubled in price.
I was looking at my app the other day for Popeyes when Young was driving home alone from Indiana. I thought maybe I'd run over and get some chicken and do stuff like that. I looked at this stuff and I'm like, holy cow! The price of virtually any kind of meal at Popeyes is through the roof compared to what it was before. I just I know I've seen prices go up, but I think particularly like things like chicken, it's been hard. I mean, if you're running a chicken business, you faced a rough go. What do you do? People who've got the Costco, go buy rotisserie chicken, which is still $5, $49, and then cut it up and make it into some other thing, because that's the value now. I mean, Costco sells that at a loss, right? So that's a good, because the stuff in the refrigerator refrigerated section for fresh meats. That's market pricing that's going up and down depending upon the condition. But
Mhm.
it's hard.
Hey, let's play a little game. What would you pay for 2 ounces of Cheez-Its? A, 50 cents. B, 75 cents. C, $1. D, $1.50.
I
What
have
would
no
you
idea
pay?
where to buy cheese.
No, Cheez-Its. These are the
Oh,
Cheez-Its
cheese
crackers in a vending machine.
on the vending machine. Well, yeah, it's probably got to be at least a buck by now.
It's $1.50. That was 75 cents
And
typically
that and
before.
that's for the packages are like what is ounces or 1.5 ounces?
2 ounce. 2 ounces.
Ounces? Yeah,
Hmm. By the
yeah.
way,
That's a
2 ounces of mini Chips Ahoy, $1.75. Peanut M&Ms, $1.50. Those used to be $1 or even some places 75 cents because it's not the tear and share size. It's this regular kind of size.
that means you got to go to Costco or Sam's and buy it and bring it yourself.
Yeah, I mean, a Rice Krispie treat. Okay, a Rice Krispie treat is the cheapest of cheapest vending machine foods. $1.75. I mean, can you believe these prices? And you know those Austin and Lace
Are
peanut
those at
butter?
Goddard?
Yeah, these are like Austin's Lace peanut butter crackers. The
Yeah,
orange ones.
yeah.
Those are like dirt cheap, right? $1.50. Grandma's sandwich cookies, $1.75. Roll Gold pretzels, $1.75. That's crazy.
I think you used to be able to buy those peanut butter crackers like
25 cents.
they were 15, 20 cents a piece or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, at one point.
And it's not just at Goddard. At the car dealership, when I go to take my car into service, the vending machine prices there are like that too. I mean, Cokes are almost $2. I remember years ago, went to New York City. This is actually probably when I was working for you guys. Went up there for a weekend, and at the hotel, the soda was $2.25. I fear what the price of that soda is at that same Holiday
Yeah,
Inn Crown Plaza
you
LaGuardia
always
Airport.
machine prices in the hotel are high, but if it was high, if it was that, yeah, what are they charging now?
Yeah.
$4.50.
But then again, now they're putting illegals in there. Probably at the Crown Plaza too. I mean, the Milford Plaza is now home for illegal aliens.
Yeah, I don't know if hotels do as much vending and stuff as they used to. I think they've tried
Well, I
to do.
know the hotel in Ocean City did have vending machines. The hotel we stayed at for the convention, the lovely Princess Royale Hotel. I highly recommend that hotel. Get an oceanside view. Preferably, if you can get a condo, get the condos. They're even nicer than the hotel rooms. But yeah, it was. I think it was not. It was actually. It was a good setup. I think. But yeah, vending machine prices are, even if you go. I tell you, only places I've seen prices not gone up is the Costco's food court. The ice cream is still what it was. The water is still 25 cents a bottle. Granted, it's not Perrier or anything like that, but it's
They did raise the price of a soda from 59 to 69 cents. And they went the chicken bake went from what 2.99 to 3.99.
oh, did it? Okay.
But the hot dog and soda, the best deal in town, $1.50.
Well, the pizza and ice cream are still the same price too.
I think yeah, but they did eliminate one pizza. I think. I mean, I think that they serve cheese and pepperoni, but they don't serve like a vegetable one anymore or something like that.
Yeah.
So they simplified their menu, after the pandemic a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I think for time for the year or so that I was home alone while in Indiana, I think I went to Costco twice and had lunch and getting the hot dog. I'm like,
Hmm.
it's a good deal to pass us up.
Yeah, I mean that pizza is the best deal in town, frankly,
I
compared to
agree.
Papa John's. I mean, compared to Papa John's or Pizza Hut, and But Pizza Hut used to be a great pizza place. I think they went down. They went south when they stopped the dining service. Where they had wait staff and so on. Uh, that's what things I think went south for Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut now is just it's okay for carry out, I guess. If you don't mind. But yeah,
Yeah, Young is a big Papa John's fan, so
yeah. Their stuffed crust. Has you had their stuffed crust? That's really good too.
I don't know if we had that yet. Every once in a while, she just has to have it. Matter of fact, I think my dog family apparently on Friday nights for the family for dinner. They rotate along Costco, little Caesars, whatever, maybe Domino's, but when we were down there,
Little Caesars is the positively worst pizza out there. Only thing worse than Little Caesars is CC's Pizza.
yeah, well, I don't. I mean, Little Caesars is fine because it's right. I mean, you want a cheap pizza, you get a cheap pizza. It's like cardboard. I mean, it's.
But you know what I say? If you really want cheap pizza, buy McCain's Elio's Pizza. I
ate so many of those when I was in my 20s.
It is really good pizza. I mean, it's got a nice tasting sauce. It's almost as good as Mama Celeste. And I do not like Red Baron. I know a lot of people say that's like the Cadillac of frozen pizzas. The cheap frozen pizzas, I should say. But I don't like Red Baron.
If you're gonna get a cheap frozen pizza, buy the Costco frozen pizza.
Yeah, that's actually good. That's actually good pizza too.
That's a pretty
it's not
good
bad.
pizza.
But the pizza over at what do you call it? If you recall, there used to be a place in Wheaton Plaza called the Orange Bowl. They're not there, but they had really good pizza there. It was good New York style pizza with a doughy crust. The sauce had just the right amount of taste, And Don, I don't know if you remember the trolley car pizza place. I don't know if you remember that at all. It was in Aspen Hill, I believe is where it was. Where now there's I think it's a Korean grocery store, Loti, that's there now where the trolley car used to be.
Was a trolley car where the Lotus?
Well, it was in that shopping center. I would say it's in that same shopping center. I don't think it was in the same location. That may have been
the Lotte took over, I think, Track Auto.
No, I thought the Lotte over there. I'm talking about the one on Georgia Avenue.
Yeah, the one where the out is and everything.
Yeah. Was that a track? I thought that was like a. What do you call it? At one point, it was like a Pranty Pride or something like that grocery store.
It was a Track Auto because I went there to that Track Auto.
Maybe it became a Track Auto after the Pranty Pride or the Scans. It used to be Scans also.
Scan where Carrabba's and Outback are. I don't even know if Carrabba's is there. That was Scan.
There was a Carrabba's there.
There was a Carrabba's there. It was Carrabba's and Outback to each other because it's the same company.
Because there used to be a Jerry's there too, a Jerry's Pizza.
The Jerry's in Aspen Hill was the giant food shopping center across the street basically.
But see, it used to also be there. Also, where the Outback is? It was in that stretch there is where they had a Jerry's there too. You're talking about the giant that's over where the Kohl's is now, right? Over by Connecticut Avenue.
Yeah, the Kohl's took over the old NP.
Yeah.
Right. But the giant food about halfway down was Jerry's because I ate at that Jerry's.
Mm-hmm. And now Jerry's are all gone.
Yeah, they're gone.
I think no. Jeff says there's 2 Jerry's actually in Howard County. But yeah, they're all gone. A lot of our good, fine eating establishments are gone.
It happens.
I know. Broadway Pizza's gone over in the Cabin John Shopping Center. But they got some new places. I mean, Frank Pete's. It's an acquired taste. I did not like it, frankly. I'm not a fan of the wood-fired pizza when the crust is super thin, frankly, like theirs was. I like a little bit of thickness to a crust. I know, but
I mean, didn't we one time? Didn't you eat that at like a Bertucci's? Aren't they oven or something?
Yeah. Yeah, Bertucci's. Yeah, the one in 2010 and the one on Connecticut Avenue. We used to go to that,
Yeah, yeah.
and that crust was not as thin. Their crust is thin. Like if you've been to Matchbox, their pizza is that thin. Yeah. Uh, but we got a pizza on it. But we're at final thoughts, Don. It's 8 o'clock. We're in extra innings.
Yeah, extra innings, extra innings. All right.
Speaking of extra innings, how about the Orioles? I mean, come on, they they've been in and out of third place a few times this week.
Yeah, so I'm kind of, because your Oriole fandom,
Do
I
we
keep
dare? Yeah, do we dare
I
and
keep
dream the impossible? Dream of possibly second
yeah,
place?
yeah. I mean, they're playing this last week. They 500 balls, so they weren't really making any progress, but they're losing a lot of ground either. You
Yeah,
know,
and the Yankees have been losing too. That also helps too.
yeah, I mean, they're still going to be long shots to get to the wild card. The fact that they're even remote contention for the wild card isn't to begin with.
Let me tell you, if they had lost every single game after they reached the 500 mark before the All Star break, I'd be happy. That would have
I
still
mean,
been
I look
a
at
victory.
if they win two more games, the maximum number of games they can lose 99. That would mean they can't lose 100 games this year. And they're this is that's poised to win 80 to 83 games. That's
Yeah,
well above anybody's expectations for this.
yeah. I mean, nobody expected them to do this well.
No, no.
You know,
I'm sure most predictions were in the
stellar.
55
Yeah,
60 win range, and
yeah.
they've passed that. So
And they got a series with the Red Sox this weekend, so they should pick up some ground this weekend.
and the Red Sox are playing well. Yeah, like you said, the Yankees have been playing well. The Blue Jays should be better, but they're not. The Rays,
The Red Sox are in the cellar.
yeah, yeah.
They're in
Yeah,
last place.
it's been a very odd year for the AL East.
But the Red Sox are doing better than the Nats.
Yeah, well, it's not hard. I mean, The Nationals are the worst team in baseball at the same time. They've got a terrible team. They're rebuilding for the future. This is this is going to be like a version of the Orioles, but maybe worse. I mean, I don't think things for the Nationals until they know who the team is going to be sold to. Because then they'll have a clear picture exactly what they want to do. But
Maybe Dan Snyder can buy him.
nobody wants to spend any money on theirs at this point. So it's really their situation is pretty murky right now. Um, and I don't and despite the fact they're a terrible team record wise, they'll still fetch a very good price because of the potential. Any major sports professional team is worth a ton of money these days. It doesn't make a difference what sport you're playing. People are paying big bucks for these. So anyway, so just a couple of final thoughts here. Here since Elvis died. Okay, I mentioned because I remember when he died where I was, and I was on the Eastern Shore in a newspaper across the street where I was staying with some friends of mine family, and I was still in shock. But it's hard for me to believe that it's been 50 years since yeah. Well,
No,
actually,
that can't be right. Because
that's 45 years, I think. Right? Wait a minute.
I'm 50,
Yeah, it would be 45 years actually. That's
and I would
right.
say Elvis died when I was maybe in kindergarten.
Yeah. It would have been 1977. For some reason, I thought it was 50, but I realized now 45 just now. It was August, I think it's August 16th, 1977.
Yeah,
So, all right, 45, still a long time. But
yeah.
I remember where I was, and the family I was staying with. The mother was a big Elvis fan, so she was pretty devastated about that. I think I was still too young to when you're 18 and Elvis eyes are like. I remember watching these. I remember listening to some of the music, but I wasn't. I really was Elvis heyday on music and songs and everything like that.
That was the heavy set Elvis days.
Yeah, the drug addled old days.
The fat Elvis.
Fat Elvis days. See the story today, which I thought was interesting, was so Louisiana is withholding funds, these flood reliefs from New Orleans because New Orleans has come out and said going to enforce the abortion ban in that's law in Louisiana. So of course the
Mhm.
Democrat mayor in Louisiana is like, this is or women's reproductive rights and women like that. It's like, I don't know. Look, I see this is fairly white. This is the law in Louisiana. There are
Yeah, I mean,
consequences.
here's the thing.
If you decided to defy it, there could be and will be consequences. In this case, there are consequences. But they want to reframe this as, oh, this is unfair, because it's going to hurt women. You're already disobeying the law of land. So I don't think you have a leg to stand on to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's these. It's funny how I'll say it, baby killing is the civil right. That's kind of a little morbid there, frankly. That's not a civil right, frankly. I'm sorry. That is not a civil right. We are, it's, there are a lot of alternatives, adoption, and so on.
Yeah.
But,
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's been a year, obviously, with the
and here's the thing, what if the shoe were on the other foot? Let's go back to when Roe v. Wade overturned. Let's say there's a Republican mayor in Jackson, Mississippi, let's just say, who basically says, I am not going to, we're not going to allow you to have abortions. We're going to shut down all the abortion clinics. They'd sent the National Guard in to basically escort women into the abortion clinics, frankly. Uh, but because it's the other way around, they can, thumb their nose at the law. Because when you're a leftist, you can pick and choose the laws you want to obey.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty good point there. It's just that if the Republicans defy something like this, yeah, all of a sudden you get this big uproar and thing like this. The Democrats do it like this, and then all
They're,
the media rallies around saying, "You see, this is another example of how lives are going to be in danger," and
Mhm.
everything like this. And you you know, there are states and should have the right. The voters should go ahead and have their input as to if they want abortion legal or not. If they vote for it, so,
Mhm.
you and I will not agree with it, but then we have a choice not to live there, and that's
Yes.
and
Look, I mean, let's look at Maryland. Maryland will never be a pro-life state.
oh yeah, right.
I mean, even if Dan Cox becomes governor, abortion is still going to be safe, legal, and frequent in Maryland. And that's what the liberals want, by the way. Safe. They want it basically frequent, maybe safe, and definitely legal. That's what they want. You know, and I mean, it's like kind of I was reading an article where people now are our friend Codeman mentioned. There's an article where nowadays when somebody is with child, they go, "Oh my God, another child! Can they afford?" I mean, it's like it's a blessing. It's not a curse, you morons. So yeah.
Yeah,
But back to your final thoughts.
speak daughter. She's got 6 kids now. It's a great blessing,
Six blessings, yes.
right? Yeah, and on abortion, I mean, for heaven's sakes, I mean, there's abortion is available, has been available so widespread. It's that this is there's no consequence to having unprotected sex in this regard. Because if I can go have if they can go have an abortion, like go ahead and have all the
Yep.
unprotected sex you want,
Hmm.
you can go ahead and get rid of the baby. Uh,
Hmm.
and that's not the way we should be living. I mean,
No.
everything we do
Yeah.
one way
By
or
the way,
another.
let's take this one step further. Let's say you have an elderly parent who's basically a burden on you. You got to take care of them and stuff like that. Why can't we just put them on the side of the street? As that's what liberals pretty much. That's what they're doing when they abort a child. They're murdering a child. And it's like abandoning. Basically, they're. It's not that different from putting an old person on a iceberg adrift or send them to the mountaintops like they did in Japan in the old days, or was it China? One or the other. Uh, and just let's get rid of the old people too. We don't have to pay them Social Security either if we do that. Hey, liberals, you've solved your Social Security problems if you just basically mandatory say that. When somebody turns, if they are lucky enough to live to 80, or what is it? No, 72. Is that what they say? People are over the hill at 72, even though Joe Biden's 79. Why don't we just do this? You turn 72, you got to turn yourself into government sites so you can be euthanized. They can put you to sleep.
Panels.
Yeah, exactly. That is what the left wants. I know they mock us for saying death panels, but that's really their utopia. Is that is their utopia? I mean, that's why they made movies like Soylent Green. Frankly, you know, uh, these people, they're morbid, horrible, horrible people on the left.
All right. And the last thought here was just a poll that I saw this afternoon from the LA Times where they polled California Democrats, the voters. The Democrats prefer Gavin Newsom over Kamala Harris if they had to select a 2024 candidate. And 46% of those polled want Biden to run in 2024. Okay, this is California, and there's nearly half the Democrat voters surveyed in California as ultra liberal as the state is. They don't want Joe Biden running in 2024. That's a problem.
But this is the rest of the story, as Paul Harwood says. They think Joe Biden is too conservative for them. He's holding up their leftist agenda. They want somebody to the left of Joe.
Well, they got part of the leftist agenda with Inflation Reduction Act, which is a stupid aim.
Yeah, I know. It is like, I still think the price of gas is going to be going up this fall. Because right now, we're in summer vacation. People can choose not to drive. And as more and more businesses open up, hell, when the government starts opening up and telling government employees, hey, you got to actually come into work. You can't telecommute. They're going to have to be driving, and they're not going to like paying $4 a gallon for gas, even, because not everyone that works for the government is a GS 10 or above. If you're just a GS 7 or GS 6 or GS 9, yeah, good luck with that. Paying $4 a gallon for gas. But yeah.
All right, that's it. That's enough.
Okay. My final thoughts. First of all, this is Dream World Coke. It should be called Nightmare World Coke. It is horrible. It is so bad. I might actually end up pouring out. Look, this is all I drank, and usually I could probably finish half the bottle by the end of the show. It is horrible. It is very bad. It's a nightmare. It's Nightmare Coke.
Too much sugar.
What's that?
Too much sugar.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I don't know if you've, by the way, don't want to go off too much on a tangent, but I don't know, have you seen the Pepsi? It's like the Laverne DeFazio Pepsi special. It's like a creamy Pepsi with milk and Pepsi together. If you remember from Laverne and Shirley, Laverne's character loved milk and Pepsi. She'd mix the two together and drink those.
Better memory than me on that one. That's for sure.
Yeah. So, but another final thoughts. Come on, Governor Hogan. Come on. Stop posing for pictures of Wes Moore. And you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that, frankly. But that's enough about all I'm going to say on that. And the other big thing is the Maryland Red, White, and Blue dinner is set for September 22nd at the hotels in College Park. It's over on Route 1, the new revitalized Route 1. I think when out.
I've been there. That's a nice hotel.
Yeah, and the restaurant's to be questioned. The Maryland Inn or whatever the name of that restaurant is not that good. No, the service is bad, and this was pre-pandemic. We went there, and the service was bad. The food was mediocre, and I thought the wait staff was a little snippy. But that's where the food's going to be great because it's not the restaurant that's going to be doing the food at Red, White, and Blue. Go to mdgop.org to learn all about it. Tickets are only a low $200. That's Biden inflation for you. I know a lot of people are saying, "Well, it was $150 a year ago," but Biden inflation, 9.1% inflation, has consequences. It's you're helping the
look. They're speaker. They're gonna. They've upped the ante. I mean, is it costing them that much more to serve?
It actually is. This is a much more expensive place than Maryland Live.
Yeah.
Maryland Live was booked.
Well, I'm glad.
It's like it's an easy drive for us.
Yeah. I thought the only thing about Maryland Live though was just that it was just too easy to get into through the casino for stuff.
Let me tell you, my issue with Maryland Live. Okay, and I know this. I'm going to sound really bourgeois when I say this. I don't like the fact they don't have bellhops. I don't like the fact that they don't have valet parking. I don't like the fact that I got to park my own car, walk through the casino, and carry my own bags to my room. I don't like that.
But yeah, you are bourgeois. Bougie.
Sorry, I've gotten used to. Yes, as Jackie would say. But I'm sorry, I've gotten used to other people taking my bags. By the way, you stay at when I went to CPAC, when it was at the last time they had it over at National Harbor, I stayed at the hotel. My bags from my car showed up in my room just as when I got to my room, they were already there. That's service. When I left, I called downstairs. Somebody came, took my bags. They ended up in my car. And that's a good thing, frankly. That it does that. You can do that. That's when we went to Rocky Gap for the convention last year. Bellhop took the bags to my room. I didn't have to carry. I had to park myself, but that wasn't so bad. But the fact that I don't have to carry my bags to my room, they magically appear and they magically disappear and end up in my car. That is a very good thing, frankly. And Maryland Live can learn from that. I mean, come on, just rig your games a little bit more so you can afford to pay bellhops and valets, frankly. The Milford Plaza used to give you bellhops and valet.
I mean, I kind of, I don't think the Maryland. I mean, I can't imagine the hotel is very cheap. It's one thing if you're the budget hotel, you don't have that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
you just have the card. But I mean, if you're charging say $150 a night on the average or more, should have some bell staff, around there for people who want to cater to.
It's like if I'm staying at, say, a La Quinta, which nobody should ever stay at a La Quinta. Maybe it's just the one I went to in Florence, so it was really bad, but because it smelled like pets, because they allow pets, But I don't mind carrying
uneven quality.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind carrying my bags there because I'm only paying, less than $100 a night to stay there. I don't know what was going on that night, though. Every hotel in Florence was booked. I usually stay at the Host 2, which is a new brand of Marriott, which is, it's kind of one of those lifestyle hotels. Where I stay at the Comfort Inns and Suites. Again, I don't mind taking my bags there because it's a Comfort Inn, frankly.
Yeah.
But if I'm staying at, say, a Marriott or a fancy hotel like that, like Maryland Live is a fancy hotel, frankly. I do want the bellhop service. And that is my rant on why I think Maryland Live needs a higher bellhop. And that is my final thoughts. I'll leave you with that thought. Maryland Live hire some bellhops and valets. There's people. People are probably working their homes to play the games there. At least you could do is have somebody park their cars so you keep the keys in case they can't make you own a car. You have a car there. But yeah, that's it. My final thoughts. See everyone next week. Take care.
All right. Bye.